Episode 10, Blokes podcast. A few special guests here today from Sydney and Melbourne. So who we got? Introduce yourselves.
Crawford from NotEssential.
V from NotEssential.
James Rowdy from NFT Mel.
And Kane from NotEssential.
There we go. So we're in Brizzy for a couple of events this weekend. So the boys are flowing up, which is bloody awesome to see Brisbane growing more and more in this space. So we'll start with Rowdy.
Yep.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
A little bit about myself. Just sort of my journey into Web3?
Yeah.
Yeah, so got into Bitcoin in 2017. Funny story, I was a drug dealer back then and had a whole bunch of money. Maybe I shouldn't say that on the podcast. So.
No, we like it raw, everything.
Too late.
Yeah. No, I wasn't a drug dealer.
Disclaimer, bro.
I just saw the chop one. I was like, no, I'll take that back. So I got into 2017. I had a friend of mine, and he told me about Bitcoin, and I ended up buying a bunch of Bitcoin back then, and I was fascinated by it. And then I was always like started buying altcoins and stuff like that, and I was just like, this technology, what the fuck is going on, kind of thing. And then sort of fast forward to 2020, COVID. I was working in corporate construction, had been for years, so the last sort of 13, 14 years. COVID hit, I started doing drop shipping and done all right at that, and then was like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking quit my job. I just saw, look, it was a very toxic industry, and I just saw like everyone was really sad and miserable, you know, everyone was stressed out, really toxic environment. So I moved to Bali during the pandemic when we were in lockdown.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, which is quite cool. So I just packed up all my shit and left. And when I went over there, I met these guys and they said, dude, NFTs. And then I was like, NFTs. And then I went down the rabbit hole. And then that's when the whole game changed. I got real excited. I understood the technology and I was like, fuck, this is going to change the world, right? So I got real loud on social media. Back then, I was on Facebook. Everyone's just like, what the fuck is he talking about, you know? And I was like, NFTs, Google it, it's going to change the world. And I share that status every fucking day. September every year, I share that status.
So September 2020 you put that out?
September 2020 I put that out.
Yeah.
And started learning about NFTs, went down the rabbit hole. Jumped on OpenSea. I was one of the first 12,000 wallets on OpenSea back in the day. So it was like early fucking days. This is back when we were on Clubhouse communicating through there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy shit, like it's the Renaissance, you know what I mean? I was like, this is gonna fucking change the world. And then NBA Top Shot came out. And I went hard on NBA Top Shot. I still hold a shitload of them. Just waiting for those rookies to get them stats up and then just fucking sell them.
Yeah.
But I think that, look, another sort of like 5-10 years, they're gonna be huge. Zion Williamsons, the LaMelos and stuff like that. So that's going to be really cool and fun. But yeah, and then I just, got into it, moved back to Melbourne, and just was like, you know what, make the most of this bull run. So started, more sort of trading crypto back then, but still focusing on NFTs, DJing a little bit here and there. And then sort of done that throughout sort of 2020, 2021. Went to the first ever NFT Melb event. I met Daniel and the crew there, and then we kicked it off. I think the second event I spoke at, which was really cool and exciting, and then we just became really, really close. And then I joined up with the NFT Melb crew sort of early 21, and then ever since then just been running events with them, which has been quite cool. And then for my full-time gig, I work at marketing at Banksa. So Banksa is the world's leading fiat on and off ramp. I sound very scripted because I get that drilled into me at work all the time. So that's essentially me. That's essentially what I do. I'm just really, really excited to obviously be here, be on the podcast, and obviously it's really, really cool to see other states now taking action and creating these meetup events, because the IRL events that we host at MTBL, the atmosphere is just electric. Everyone's there, and it's just everyone has a good time. and people have come up to us crying and just like, oh my god, I found my people, like, you know, get very emotional about it.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's pretty amazing,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? So,
Special.
so yeah, I think, look, that's essentially me. That's essentially sort of what I do in the space. Yeah, I guess that's sort of it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested to hear, before we jump around or on your story, where you spoke about NFT Melbourne. I'm kind of curious where you actually see NFT Melbourne going. Like, is it going to be like a big convention thing? Is that where you see it? Like, getting like really, really scared? Because obviously, you want as many people to start coming to those things as possible. Every time you're trying to get more people, I'm assuming. How big do you actually want it to be? Like, and do you want to be the person that runs it? Like,
yeah. So Daniel and I and the crew, we share this sort of vision, and I guess the vision is that it will be some sort of huge, large scale conference festival kind of thing. But we don't want it to be like a standard conference.
Yeah.
We want it to be as Web3 as it possibly can, as immersive as it possibly can. And we really want to, you know, because what we're doing at NFT Melt, we're cultivating and curating the culture, right? I mean, very biased, but, you know, like, I mean, the NotEssential boys can back me up here, but the community that we've got is fucking solid, man. And they're just, everyone that's doing stuff within the community and outside of the community, it's amazing. And I guess this is just sort of like a catalyst, and it's going to lead into, you know, going into the crypto conferences and stuff like that. So NFT Mel will still be doing IRL events. You know, we do them every sort of 2 weeks, and I think that will sort of be like an end goal. But we're also looking at going down the avenue of, you know, building out, like, everyone in the team, very, very solid. We all bring different sets of expertise, you know, from development to marketing to branding to operations, like, it's everything, right? So we're like, I think it's more sort of going down the path of a Web3 agency. However, we don't want it to be a Web3 agency. Yeah. So more focusing around education. We think that's a huge there's a huge gap in the market there, but educating people properly and you know, and just make sure that they understand it at a basic level, but at a higher level too. And I guess because, you know, like we were saying before, there's a lot of content out there that's very misleading, and people will try and explain some sort of content in their own context, but then most of the time it's not correct, right? And then this is how you get the spread of misinformation and stuff like this. And I think we really want to hone in on that. I think we can see a really huge gap there. But yeah, to answer your question, I think, yeah, like, it's going to be large scale events for sure. And I think it's, you know, globally, that's the focus. In August, end of August, we've got NFT New Zealand.
Yes.
And we're doing that with NotEssentials and NFT Plug and Meta Nick. So that's going to be a collaboration event. And we've also teamed up with Blockchain New Zealand over there.
And Easy Crypto.
No. No.
put that back in your mouth.
Back in your mouth.
How dare you, John?
How dare you?
They said no. They said no. Yeah, they said no. Yeah.
And I don't know, this may be a bit too early to think about, but this is my opinion. It's where I see the technology going to the point where, like, for it to be fully adopted and for it to be used in every business and whatever, we're talking about NFTs here. It won't be called NFTs. Like, people will just be using it. They have no idea that they're even using the technology, right?
Yeah.
So, have you thought about, like, what that means for the name NFT Melbourne, or is it, like, too far away and you just wanted to capitalise on getting the people that know what the word NFT is right now to get it?
Yeah, look, I mean, NFT Melbourne's just sort of become like a household brand in the space. I mean, what we've done and how we've built it up, I mean, everyone knows who NFT Melbourne is and
That's
you
right.
know, what we're doing in the space. So I just think we're going to keep pursuing with that brand. But yeah, look, who knows what they're going to be called in the future, right?
Right.
But I think that's probably not front of mind for us. It's just keep growing the brand and go from that. And I guess when that point of time comes, you know, we'll get together and find, you know, the best decision to make.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I don't know what they'll be called in the future. I like NFTs.
Oh yeah, same.
It rolls off the tongue, it's very easy, and it's just, yeah, it's good. It's a great acronym, and I think just on that, you know, Web3's full of acronyms, right?
Yeah.
You know, the GMs, the MFGs, the LFGs.
Well, the way I see it is like, it won't be called anything. You guys could have a completely different opinion. I feel like people will just be using the technology and they will just be like, for example, let's just use crypto as an example. Like they'll be, they have a video game and they're playing it, and the currency the way that the currency works in that game, it has technology, it's cryptocurrency, right? And they won't even know that it is cryptocurrency technology. They'll just be like, oh, it's just the way that they're paying me out. Or I don't think people will actually, this is the way I view it, I don't think people will think about the term or the way the technology is working, they'll just be using it.
Well, it's like the internet. It's like I'm not going to go onto the internet and look this up. So I'll just look it up. Like I'm just gonna,
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google it, but you're using
And it's just using
It's just like how when email came out, like it's not something that was mainstream, but it just everyone started using it, and everyone kept using it more and more. Different services of mailing system came out, and eventually people just forgot about posting and sending the post out to another. Country. I'll just send an email.
Yeah, it's got to be a seamless transfer
That's
to
it.
onboard the mass. You know what I mean? The masses. So it'll be an interesting thing to say, like it's a receipt, it's a subscription to a gym or anything like that. You just won't know. Oh, just sign up here. You get this transferred to your wallet.
And they'll be like,
you
And
can
that's
go to
your
gym, and you
interest.
just with that same wallet, you can probably RFID into the gym. You know what I mean? For example.
I think
So-
I agree with you in the sense that I think it will become so seamlessly used everywhere, and they won't even realize that they're using the NFT.
it.
oh, 100%.
Like only the OGs in the space will be like, bro, that's an NFT. No, it's not, bro. It's just in my wallet. So it's an
But don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We need the way that we're going about it now. We need to talk about it as an NFT, and still need to keep.
mentioning the word
It's
NFT.
still very exactly.
It's very new,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Definitely.
So what's not essential?
So I'll take this one.
Yeah. I was gonna
I
say.
was like,
You're on.
So
What are we?
I want to know what we are.
a bit of everything.
a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
can I zoom in first real quick? Was Cyclo Turtles before or after?
It was together.
It was together.
Okay.
It was formed together.
Okay. Now.
I think we started off with Not Essential first.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were always going to do an NFT project. So
Yeah.
I guess a little bit of background how it kind of came around was I was writing a children's book with our artist, the current artist Domi. We had a meeting and he told us that these boys, they want to do an NFT project. We've all known each other collectively for 10
Over
years
10
plus,
years,
right? So I was like, oh, I see these guys all the time. This is the perfect time to finally connect together and do something creative with each other.
Yeah.
So once we connected together, it was just like that straight away. Ideas were flowing, everything was coming through. It was just endless.
It almost felt like an
amount of-
acid trip for the first month of
Straight
training.
up.
like ideas, like you're like fucking. I'm sure you guys would have gone through the same
yes,
thing. It's like, how are we gonna do
Right.
this? How are we gonna do that?
I remember.
And then,
I remember we had two whiteboards. We'd
Oh, bro,
read the
it was-
whiteboards, take photos of it, wipe it out. Something else.
Yep.
and I think, and then taking those ideas and executing them is a whole nother
Yeah.
ball game. And then and you guys would know, like it takes a lot of time and fucking like constant back and forth. And we've gone through a huge, like now it's been 8 months, I think.
8-9 months. We
Yeah,
started in about
that's
October-ish, early November.
Yeah.
And now we're here. What
Yeah.
is it? Is it
So
June?
pretty much-
That's like 9.
July. It's July.
Yeah.
July.
So pretty much it's like, for us it was like, it started off as like a way, it's a creative collective of people coming together to solve chronic world problems, but also provide services for people in the Web3 space that is efficient and create some sort of value. We feel that like the individual is not essential, but together we're all essential.
I love that.
That's actually.
And it's always every time you guys, even every time you guys always sing it together, and it sounds like music to my ears.
But it's like saying that if we collectively come together and collaborate together, not just amongst ourselves, but within the space itself,
Like what we're doing right now.
we can
Yeah.
create something much larger, much more
Yeah.
efficient, and be proactive in executing ideas because we're all full of ideas in this space. And that's what essentially what not essential is.
Yeah. We've gone down like so we've done some cleanups. We started well with the Cyclo Turtles. We concentrated on coral regeneration, and we're actually working with Beyond Coral Foundation, which is a non-for-profit. And we actually met the founder, and this is the kind of like a lot of projects when we were like starting off and realized, okay, we want to get involved in marine conservation and things, but trying to reach out to cleanups, and charities don't give a shit, right? They don't give a shit. They just send you the wallet address, send me the money. You know what I mean?
That's it, yeah.
But you don't get to see what actually happens with the money. So we were like, we want not just the blockchain being transparent, but showcase exactly what the money that you get and what it's going to do. So
And
luckily,
with I guess with coral regeneration, it was like, what is the most effective method to regenerate coral? And we want to provide the funding for that solution and create awareness for that solution. So as Kane was saying, beyond coral, Stephen Roden, he's an ex-NASA engineer, built an AI robot that regenerates coral on land 50 times faster than traditional methods. He's got one on Magnetic Island, and the boys went out and visited it.
yeah, that was amazing.
Time.
And we did a podcast with him.
Yeah.
He took Belly over here, who's never been snorkeling. I didn't even know till he got in, and then he was drowning. I'm like, what? Marine conservation? What are you doing?
It was a crazy experience because I've always loved swimming. It's just something I've always loved doing. But weirdly, I've never been snorkeling, and I thought it was something that you had to get proper gear for and all of this stuff. We got to Stephen Roden's house. He's like, do these for you? I'm like, yeah, it does, the flip flops, and big flip flops, like big flip flops, and then
Flip flops. He's from New Zealand.
we modified everything. You say something about New Zealand?
Sorry. There's two New Zealanders here.
We're the best.
And then we got that gears and stuff, and we went down near Magnetic Island, and when we went, we actually saw a shipwreck that was filled with coral and stuff. It was game changer because I put my head down, and these guys had like. They were following Stephen because they obviously know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I got lost. I went down, there was a whole other world down there. I'm like,
Yeah, mesmerized.
I was mesmerized, and then like I look up, I'm like, where is everyone? And then I see these guys are looking for me, like, bro, wasn't there 3 of you? Why is there only 2 of you now? I'm like, bro, I'm over here. I'm here, bro. I'm here. It was next level. I think that changed everything because I saw another world down there of like. What we call different races, everything down there was different corals, and there were some corals that was actually like breathing. I'm like, whoa, this was mental.
Yeah, and kind of what it does, it opens doors, right? Like the fact that we like met up with Stephen and actually, he stayed at his house. We've done podcasts, went out for dinner. He taught us a lot, and he has obviously his goals as well, and how we as a project can work with him alongside. And he's very open to like working together. He loves the emerging technology of blockchain, and he wants to kind of incorporate into coral restoration as well. Like he wants to do, I think
he wants to create like a metaverse where you can watch your coral
grow.
What he's doing, growing and stuff through the goggles of your comfort of your room, and step into the AI bot and all of that stuff. It's crazy.
It's an NFT it's always growing.
Yeah.
So your NFT is always going to get updated, and
Constantly.
like you're going to see it like.
So it's
wow.
Crazy shit. And I think that was like for us to kind of actually interact with the non-for-profit, opening that kind of like opportunity.
What's the limitations? What's the barriers? How can we help? How not just give you a monetary value and then not know exactly what's going on, so we can actually see.
Yeah, and so that way the community also knows what you're doing with the money. You know what I mean? Not like, I'm gonna.
That's important.
Yeah, that's important.
Very important.
It, like with projects, we have to be so transparent that first of all they know you, who you are as a person, and what you believe in, and also whoever you work with, they should also kind of understand how your collaborations are. You know what I mean? So
see, that's interesting because you see a lot of the projects. They're like the proceed of the mid will go towards a charity, and it's like they pay the $30,000 to the charity, and then it's kind of like, well, what
did that charity do with that
thing? Although you say to men's mental health charity and you put it towards that, it's like how can we actually see what that money's doing?
Yeah.
Especially in this space though, like if you're not mostly transparent and like you're trying to like if you do something like they'll just instantly fudge you and it can be over in a second. It can literally be over in a split second.
That's brand destroying.
I think one thing I'm curious about in Rowdy, I want to jump into this a bit more. We'll start with these boys and then jump back to you after. Is I think knowing what
you were very keen on that. I've got to connect it to my nonsense, bro.
I think a lot of our audience, and it's going to continue this way as well, is how do people get into this space initially? So what was your guys' background before you jumped into the Web3 and started building NotEssential and the other brands that you guys have built out? Where did you come from?
Yeah, so I did like photography and film, and like I ran other businesses, and I was in crypto. And I loved, like, even though crypto had community, it was more like honestly it was more like self-centered, like selfish kind of like everyone's like in it for their selves. Where NFT projects, like you can build a community of people that understand like pretty much your roadmap, and they actually align with it, and you see community members jumping on board, and like we got one guy in America who actually works for NotEssential now. He's a part of us, and it's not like he's getting paid, but he's doing it because he loves it, and he sees the stuff that we're doing, and he's doing stuff in America, so he like goes to cleanups and stuff, and he's like our community collaborative manager over there, and he's making connections over there. We're making connections over here in Guam, and Brisbane, Melbourne. At the end of the day, this is a very new space, and I'm just so glad that we can all connect on a global scale through these projects.
Big shout out to Hilly.
Big shout out Hilly. Love him.
I love him, man. Honestly, I love him. We met this guy through our project. He's the biggest whale, and. What he's brought to our project, and not just our project, NotEssential, even community members of other projects, it's crazy the people that you can meet.
Oh my god!
Web 2, you have to be in a business, or you have to have a certain status. No, you can be you, and interact with people on that same, understand the different structures, and let go of that. That's
what I've been trying to tell people, my community. I forget on Twitter space, it's so easy to just make a connection.
Yeah.
Just
hit them up.
DM.
More than likely they'll reply. Won't happen on Instagram.
No,
hit them on Twitter though.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
Even us having apes, it's stupid. I'll get replies from everyone. And I'm like, whoa. This does not happen in the real world. You can't just talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And what you're saying about the community, even us, you find people that align with your vision, like you said, and then they just want help.
Yeah,
they don't
that's
even
it.
want money or anything. It's just I just want to be there.
Yeah. I want to be a part of this growing technology and this project because I believe in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't believe in it, and if you really don't resonate with it, you won't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
How about you fellas? How did you jump? How did you fall into the space?
I mean, so
tripped over and just fucking fired.
I'm a physio by trade.
Oh, there you
go. I started in that space. Finally, he's got it. Sorry. It's hard to get the mic off.
Right, so hard.
Stop it.
His shots started right up as well.
I know. Playing in the back of his head.
Yeah, so look, I was a physio by trade, and just hobbies and creativity and things like that. Started dabbling in crypto 2017, bought ETH at 800, sold it when it was dropped down to 500, and never stepped back in the space again until about 2020. COVID hit, then started trading meme coins, and then through that eventually just started going into NFTs and looking into NFTs. And that's pretty much it. So since about 2020, 2021. Yeah.
So when did you stop becoming a physio then? And
I'm still a physio.
So you still
He's dabbling.
Yeah,
I'm doing both.
How do you balance that?
I mean, from 6:30 to 2:30. So I'm operations managing for a private healthcare provider, and then from 2:30 onwards, and also in between when I do have a little bit of gap and breaks, I take the meetings on with the boys.
Nice.
It's full on,
and
bro.
work until late. Yeah.
That's respect.
Yeah, that's incredible. Do you have a girlfriend, partner?
I did. Let's not go into it. I was engaged at one point. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Wow. See, that's one thing that I.
But it was not essential, so it's all good. She didn't see the vision.
That's literally what us boys talk about often. I had a long-term girlfriend, 2.5 years or 3 years, and it was just it just wasn't merging with where I wanted to go in life, and you cut that out, and it's hold up, fuck.
Hopefully they don't hear this podcast.
Perspective just changes. It's fascinating.
100%. I was in one for 4 years, and trying to explain to her what Web3 was, and even what we were doing. She was very supportive of what I was doing.
Yeah.
But she didn't understand the space, and I don't think if you don't understand the space and stuff, I was trying to tell her how Web3 is going to take over, and she's like, no, it's not. I'm like, Bro, you sound like one of those people that thought the
No,
internet
let's,
wasn't going to take
well,
away.
Let Cupid interject.
Well, you know what it is. It's like
but she doesn't have to, and that's what we argue all the time with Lewis. And like, she doesn't have to understand. She doesn't have to see.
Yeah,
the vision.
yeah,
At the
yeah.
end of the day, all she has to do is be there for me.
right.
It's all that matters.
Right,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
at the same time, it's like you look at your grandma, granddad, whatever, and you go, "Fuck, they don't even know how to use technology, right? They don't know how to do this. They're behind. They've given up." For example, one of my granddads never had a computer in his life, never any of that, right? And you look at him, and you're like dinosaur. But then you look at the people now, and they choose to ignore it because they think, nah. It's
Yeah.
too complicated. It's like, well, you're going to be the dinosaur. You're the person that you're laughing at your grandparents. Like, you're becoming them.
But then it goes back to the argument of it becoming seamless and they're using it.
But
Yeah.
But
That's
also
it. I'm just talking about technology
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just on that, right? You know what that is at a deeper level is people let their emotions dictate their decisions.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, right? People like ourselves who change and adapt with technology, like COVID, right? The rules changed. We all adapted and had to change with these
Yeah.
rules, right? A lot of people couldn't handle that, you know, whatever. But you know, you can either shift with the tide or you'll get left behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, us as innovators, we're going, okay, cool, you know, we can see where the world's changing and shifting to and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, okay, cool, we shift with it. If you're stubborn and let your own emotions dictate your decisions, then you'll always lose.
Yeah.
You'll always lose.
Yeah.
You don't decide what's relevant and what's not relevant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Then you've got
it's like when Facebook came out, everyone thought it was a load of shit. Even I did.
Yeah.
Then you got addicted to it. Then Instagram came out,
Yeah.
you know, and then all the others, you know, and now it's TikTok, and it's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Fascinating. What's your background?
I used to I went over to New Zealand to study finance to do my uni degree and stuff, and then ended up working there for one of the top 4 banks. And then just slowly like being in the corporate world for about 3-4 years. There was this one project that I did. They asked us that there were so many issues at the branch. They were just like the Reserve Bank was coming down on us like, bro, this is ridiculous. Like, how can one of the top 4 banks be making these issues? So me and 4 other people, we went ahead and created a system where we centralized onboarding of customers. Without me realizing, the project did really, really well. We went from a 46% accuracy rate to 98 point something. It was stupid. The bank was shocked and stuff. But without realizing, after that happened, they shut down 141 branches because we centralized the whole fucking thing. And I'm like, holy fuck, like, bro, that wasn't our intention. That's not why we did this. Like, bro, why didn't you tell us? Yeah, that's not the only reason they did it. Yes, they wanted to shut down a lot more branches, but like, it was one of the main functions at the branch was to onboard customers. And since we took that away from them, they just went boom. And they took it all out, bro, across the whole New Zealand. 141 branches got closed, and we're like, bro, these are towns that you've just shut down. And it's like, it was damaging. It was very, very hard. And I was like, fuck, this was bad. I remember calling Ken. I was like telling him about it. He's like, bro, shut up. He's like, bro, what? He's like, bro, why do you care about
Everyone
this
talks
shit?
about Web 2 work, like corporate, like slaving away. I just like, bro, get out of it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, you could just, you do need it to like.
It was a massive learning step. It was
Yeah,
a massive,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone.
It's a
for
massive
sure,
stepping stone,
100%.
and I started to realize that I was just a number 385541. That's all I was. To the
fact that you remember that number.
Yeah, bro, I remember the number, bro. Because I wrote it down so many times, like fucking everything. And
That's how you know.
and at the end of the day, that's all I was to the business. And I think Kane sent me a little bit of BTC, and he's like, bro, like this is crypto. I'm like, what the fuck's crypto? And he's like, bro, just go deep dive. He's tiny bit of crypto. Go have some fun with it. And then next minute I knew that I was like dabbling in meme coins and shit. I doubled what he gave me, and I was like, bro, here, take it back. But I've got this, so I'm gonna play around. Had some fun, got into leverage trading, and then eventually I got to a point where I was making more than my thing job. I was going into meetings with red eyes and stuff from fucking staying up all night, fucking looking at charts going.
Yeah.
And then like one day my boss asked me, he's like, bro, you alright? I'm like, bro, like, can I have a half day? Like, I just want to go home and sleep. He's like, have you not slept? I'm like, no, I haven't slept. He's like, bro, what have you been doing? And I was like, oh, I've just been trading all night. He's like, I'm like, bro, I've made a bit of coin, but I'm he's like, bro, but you need sleep. I'm like, no, I don't need this job. I don't need this, bro. I don't need this. And then that day I went home, and then Kane's, so I was in NZ. My family lives in Sydney, and then Kane's like, bro, just fucking come home already. You know, come home. Let's just do something. You know, you've made a bit of coin. Let's just do something with all of this. And that
Let's build something.
let's build something. And that's how I came back, and Not Essential started in November.
Yeah,
And then the family grew and grew, and we're here today.
That's a sick story.
Yeah. It actually, you know, when we're actually, I think a month of planning and stuff, we're like, fucking, this could be a movie, bro. I don't know if it was just me. It's like, you have those days where you're planning and it's been like you have so much like creativity and you're planning so many ideas, and then like you think this is like an unreal moment where you're met with your mates and you're
Oh yeah, shit.
Fuck.
Two mics.
You got the
It's on me, guys.
He's over here getting.
Grab my mic there.
Fuck, I forgot what I was saying.
The movie.
Like
My bad.
you realise that it could be something more than
and like it's the spark, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you every day, and it's so exciting. You're with your mates, you're building some shit, and it's like it's real, man. And you know, every time, and I'm not gonna. There's so many challenges on the way, and the fact that you can work together and overcome these challenges, and you know,
Bond becomes stronger.
I'm yelling half the time as well, but like it's with love.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we found. It's like,
Yeah.
but I think that's important. If you can't challenge each other and then still be friends, it's like,
That's it.
Then you weren't friends.
You weren't
Yeah,
friends with
exactly.
fellas,
Yeah.
it's a dream, right? You know when you used to hang out with your kids, like when you're riding bikes around the park, it's like, fuck, I'd love to like just keep back to the boys.
Yeah, keep doing
Like,
that.
as a kid, you would think that, but it's like, oh no, but you know, I go back to money.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, now it's more like every day I see the boys. A week away from the boys, like I went my family trip away for a bit. I'm like, it feels a bit weird.
Yeah.
Came back, I'm like,
Yeah. I had that realization the other day. It was I was talking to another friend, and they're like, because I was spending like a few nights here at Jackson's, going home at 11 o'clock after work, and they're like, "Do you enjoy it? Like, do you enjoy what you're doing?" And I'm like, this is literally like what I've been wanting to do for the last 4 years, is to find something
and that's why I got you on the team.
where I can, where I can do this, and just not burn myself out, but just really push those limits. So it's fascinating how everyone kind of comes into it in different ways.
Yeah, literally.
But Rowdy, I know you've got more of a story behind you in your like personal journey as well. So you're a bit older than us blokes. How old are you, fellas?
I'm 30.
I'm 28.
So similar ages already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 32. I'm the old boy here.
You're the old boy.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind sharing a bit of your personal story, like I've heard drips and drabs of it, and I think it's quite inspiring how you've pulled yourself out of some of those low times and hard times in life. So
So sort of goes back to, you know, like I said at the start of the podcast. Here we go. No, but so I said, like, you know, look, I used to. That's where the name Rowdy came from, right? I used to party quite a lot, and you know, and that sort of how it, you know, always filling these shoes and being this voice at the party and stuff like that. And then obviously had a colourful past with drugs, tried all sorts of different drugs. However, cocaine, I became really, really addicted to. So from, I guess, maybe 2016, sort of 17, started getting into it pretty heavy. And then I was selling it and, you know, moving a decent amount, you know, here and there, and then and just using it quite a lot. And then sort of 2019, like, I was doing it every single day. So I would wake up in the morning, go to the gym, go for a run, whatever, come back home, cook breakfast, and then I would have 2 fat slugs, one for each nostril, and that's how I would shit you not. And I would punch a packet of smokes every single fucking day, and no one knew. I thought I had it all under control. I was going into these high level meetings, off my fucking guts, signing these $1 million deals. Everyone fucking loved me. It was the Rowdy show, and then I was like, I was flying, man.
Yeah.
And you know, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I'd go through 1 to 2 grams a day, easy, 7 to 10 grams in the weekend. Like we would start on a Thursday, and then finish on sort of Sunday, and it was crazy, man. And you know, my addiction got more and more and more and more, and yeah, it was pretty wild. And then I got to a really, really low point at the end of 2019. I owed some people, the wrong people, some money.
Yeah.
I managed to sort that out. But I was just like, hey, I came to a realization that this isn't me. This is, you know, not what I want to do and stuff like that. And then that sort of led into 2020. COVID hit, and I had to do like a lot of self-development, right? I reached a real, real low point, and I came out on social media and said, hey, you know, I've been lying and I've got a drug addiction. And I've had a drug addiction for a while, and I was completely open and honest with everyone, and I thought everyone was going to be like, fuck you lied to us, this and that. But it was completely the opposite. All the people that I didn't want in my life, they removed themselves, and I was surrounded by some really, really cool and loving people, and the right people showed up. And then that sort of led me into this journey into COVID, where I'm an extrovert, right? I thrive off social settings, I've got that energy, and then here I am in an apartment by myself during COVID and lockdown. And I had to do a lot of deep self-work, so I had to dive deep into myself, and it was like peeling back layers of an onion, going, cool, what is my purpose? What am I doing on this planet? Like, who am I really?
Yeah.
You know, like, why am I like trying to impress people or try to do this and this and that? And then, you know, I was like, you know, that led me into, you know, trying, you know, drop shipping and all these other like little side businesses that I've had. And then I went to Bali and done a lot of deep work again and again, and always continued to do that, because, you know, all you can do in life is just continue to grow. And then, that's sort of, I found Web3, and Web3 for me, it's like, it's part of my legacy and what I want to leave behind. And the other cool thing about it is, you know, like all you guys, it's like you find your tribe, you know what I mean? You find the right people. And I feel like Web3 for me has been an extremely positive and uplifting experience. I've met some beautiful people, i.e. yourselves and a lot of others. And everyone's just very compassionate, very loving, and just want everyone to win. And that's what I want to do as well. You know, like for me, I see, like I say this time and time again, but like the world is abundant. I just think that everyone's in this space, especially now in the bear market. These are the ones, the 1%ers who are going to make it. You know, and it's just like, for me, I've always had this philosophy that, you know, I always try and serve people. I think it's the highest thing that you can do as a human being is serve others. So every day I try and serve people in one way or another, whether that's a bit of advice, inspiring other people, checking in on friends, giving love, whatever it may be, random acts of kindness, etc. It's serving someone in one way or another. Now, the way I look at it is like you've got a little teapot and you're filling everyone's cup up with a bit of love, a bit of kindness, and then, you know, if I, you know, send you a message and go, hey man, I think you're fucking an amazing human being, you know, like I love what you're doing in this space, this and that, 90% of the time you're going to send me something back going, hey, you know, really appreciate that, Rowdy, like, you know, love what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, man, that's the biggest fucking secret out, right? Like, I'm making you feel good, you're making me feel good, so I'm just, all I'm doing is walking around through Web3 with a fucking teapot, filling up everyone's cup, man. And it's fucking amazing, you know?
Yeah, how good is that?
That's how I look at it. It's just like, you know what? And look, I've battled through mental health and stuff like that, and addiction and stuff like, and it's been an amazing journey. Like really, really cool. Like obviously I had a lot of fun, but you know, it's for me to go through that. There was something that I need to do, and it was all part of my journey, and that's led me to here. But now it's like, you know, I just love spreading love and positivity, and I just think, you know, there needs to be more of it in this world, because everyone's comparing their lives to each other, and everyone thinks they're in this big competition. And you know, look, to some extent you are, but at the same time, you're only in a competition with yourself. And you've got to better yourself every single fucking day, and you need to fucking, you know, if you keep putting good energy out there to the world and keep inspiring and helping others, then you're going to attract the right people into your life. I'm a big firm believer of that.
Yeah. Say if someone's watching this and they are going through that shit personally right now, that they're down, how did you start building those blocks to get yourself out of there? How did you just start?
Yeah, so fitness helped me a lot. Fitness and meditation. So I just became obsessed with, like, I didn't like who I was. I looked at myself in the mirror, I didn't like what I saw and who I was, and I was like, cool. Well, you know, you've got to change it. You know, I could sit here and be sad and mope about it. or do something fucking about it. And it's just like, fuck. Like, you know, I've said this on another podcast, but my biggest fear in life is me dying, right? And it's my funeral, and, you know, only 10, 20 people show up. They talk about, oh, you know, how much of a fucking crazy drug addict and party boy I was. Or the flip side, which is going to happen, is I'm going to infect many of lives of people, and there's going to be thousands of people at my funeral, and they're going to talk very highly of me and going, James Rowdy changed my life because of this, he inspired me to do this, he connected me with my business partner, he done this for me, and say all these great things about me. So for me, it's building that legacy. So for the people listening, if you're going through a drug addiction or, you know, whatever it is in life and you're struggling, first of all is find out what your purpose is in life, right? You need to really focus on what it is you're doing in life, why does you matter, and you can go seek professional help. You know, I go and see a psychologist once a month. I was doing that weekly, you know, and then slowly built up. That's amazing because you can go into a room and then just let everything out, no judgment.
Yeah.
And it feels like you lock that door and then you walk away and it's like, come back in a month and sort of see where you're at and the progress you're making.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're always progressing, you know what I mean? Like, I thought life was over when I had that drug addiction. I thought, you know, everyone's going to hate me and it's all over. And it was the complete opposite. Turned it around and, you know, now I'm doing amazing things in the Web3 space.
Yeah.
So I think for anyone who's listening is like, don't be afraid to seek help and just be honest with yourself. If you can be honest with yourself and go, hey, look, I've got a fucking problem here, and really hone in on what your habits and what your triggers are, and just learn to improve them. Don't make drastic changes because you won't stick to them. It's always just start with something, okay, cool. You know, okay, I don't like the way I look. Okay, cool. Let's start going for a walk a day. Do an hour. You know, the next day, you know, or do an hour for the week, and then next week you might go for 2 walks.
Yeah.
You know, and you just keep the week after that. Cool, I might do a bike ride halfway through it, you know, and then it's just gradual. It's 1% every single fucking day.
Yeah, adds up over time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a compounding effect, right? It's like anything. You know, if you keep doing the reps every single fucking day and keep showing up and putting in the work, it will compound over time.
And the momentum starts building.
Absolutely.
And then it's almost hard to then get off those good habits that you...
100%, man. And look, I'm addicted to feeling good.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, I've partied a lot of my life, but it's just like, for me, I have a very strict diet, I eat well, I look after my body. I still have fun, you know, every now and then. Not at the magnitude that I was, and I don't do drugs anymore.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, I don't mind having a drink here and there, but it's really sort of just focusing on, okay, like, what's going to make me feel good today? Cool, you know, I need to wake up early, I need to meditate, I need to do exercise. If I don't go to the gym, then what's the fucking point? You know, like, my anxiety is going to be through the roof, and you know, and my energy's going to be off for the day. So it's like, I need to focus in on things that are going to be good for me, but also have an ROI, you know, return on investment. So I'm investing in myself every single day with the food you eat, you know, the time you spend with yourself, etc.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say unlimited ROI. How hard was it to give up smoking?
Yeah, it was pretty hard, man. It took me quite a few times. Yeah. So I think I'm nearly probably close to 800 days smoke-free now.
Nice. Awesome. Nice. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. You know what it was? It was like, I remember having sex and I'd be really unfit, you know? And I was like, fuck, man, this is not good.
Yeah,
but then also going to the gym, like, I'd go for a run, I'm like, and then after it I'd have a smoke, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing to yourself, bro?
It's very counterintuitive, really, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's very counterintuitive. So, you know, look, it's a very hard thing, but then, like, for me, I've got an addictive personality, right?
Yeah.
So I've always noticed that I've replaced things with one or the other. You know, now I just quit coffee, you know, for a while. So I've been, 2 weeks in, and I've noticed my energy levels, but it's like, cool, I notice these things about myself, right? And these personality traits, and I'm like, that's really, really interesting. But when you become more self-aware of what your triggers are and what you know, how to counteract those or use them in a positive way, it's awesome. You know, now I'm addicted to NFTs.
How do you not let that, and I reckon it would be interesting to get everyone's perspective on this. How do you not let the Web3 NFT crypto world like become so addictive that it starts to take away from your health?
You know what it is? It's setting boundaries. You need to set boundaries. This space goes 24/7, right? And it just doesn't stop. And we get high on all these bits of information every single fucking day. But you know, I'm a big firm. Like I'm very strict with my boundaries. You know, I get up at 4 a.m. and go to bed sort of like 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night. But I'm always prioritizing my health over things that I do in the space. And I think everyone needs to do that. There's some people out there with really unhealthy habits, whether it be
Web3 habits,
sleeping, eating, drinking, smoking, whatever it may be. They really need to go, okay, cool. Look, the space isn't going anywhere. We're extremely early.
Yeah.
Okay, look, you might miss some opportunities. That's okay. The biggest ones are yet to come.
Yeah.
So that's the most exciting thing. And when you can stop, you know, being so self-judgmental on yourself and go, cool, look, I hustle hard. We all do, you know. But at the same time, it's like the only thing you got in life is your health. So if you're not prioritizing that, then you're not gonna fucking.
You might not be around for the next big opportunity.
The next
That's it, man.
That's
Like I think health is very, very important in the space, and I think taking that time away from your phone and having I think Rowdy used to say in the mornings when he wakes up he doesn't jump on his phone because it's such a habit of everyone's. As soon as you wake up you scroll for fucking 30 minutes before you even get out of bed or something, or you're on the toilet scrolling to see what's happening. I think setting yourself boundaries to ensure that you don't do that, and maybe just if you need to touch your phone, maybe pick up and talk to someone instead of scrolling through your phone. Or I mean, doing those like a routine type thing of like going to the gym or going for a walk or just going for a swim.
Not letting go. I think
Get
not
outside.
letting go of the real world is a huge thing. Like everyone's trying to jump in this metaverse, and you know, staying, you know, Twitter Spaces is 24/7. You can jump on Twitter and just NFTs are always going off somewhere. But I think there's a lot of, like we were talking about before, like people jump on Instagram. There's a lot of dopamine, just you know, you're instigating that. And same thing with NFTs, opportunities. I should have got that. I should have got this. And you're just on this chase. You're in this hamster wheel where you can just kind of let go and prioritize your time. Have a morning off. You know, go meditate. Go do what you love. In like, you know, if you would like to go for a surf first. Clear your mind and realize the real world. You know, real world utility of yourself and what your hobbies are first, so you can be clear and ready for whatever's yet to come. You know
And
what I
that's
mean?
essential.
That's essential. That's essential.
I'm kind of curious, maybe it's a little bit boring question, but we're talking about how it's going to be in the future. We obviously all believe in it, technology, let's just say that. And I reckon the number one thing people, when they're listening that aren't project founders or aren't maybe deep in the space, they're like, well, how can I actually take advantage of all the stuff that these guys are talking about? How can I actually make money, right? Because I think me personally came into it to make money. Not everyone did, but a lot of people are here to make money. What would be your guys' advice? I know you're not necessarily a project founder. You probably bought a lot of projects. You guys are founders and probably have bought a lot of projects as well. How would you, because like we're telling people like basically take advantage of it, right? How would you recommend they actually take advantage of it though? Like do they go to project founders because obviously I don't think flipping, like that's, we don't have to talk about that. We know that that's not a great way to make money necessarily. Like would you recommend they start off by just approaching founders, starting their own projects, doing agency stuff? Like
I think just being involved in projects and getting to understand, like being involved in different communities, what they're doing. Like you don't even have to buy NFTs to be in communities.
Yeah.
You know, and I think projects like founders are so accessible on Twitter Spaces and things like that, where you can actually gain a lot of knowledge, and that's the barrier that kind of keeps people from bringing out fear in a lot of people to even jump in, because they don't know. So to be able to ask questions, you know, there's AMAs on so many different projects, there's Twitter Spaces, and even if you go in there and you talk to other community members, they're always willing to help. And that's what this space has got. Everyone's willing to help out, which no other space has got. Not that I know of anyone. You know what I mean? So
I think the other thing is, you know, if you want to come into the space to make money, just have the humility to go, okay, cool, I don't know, this is new to me, and just be a sponge and learn. Slow it down. This is a fucking marathon, not a sprint.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Everyone comes in here, a lot of people, that I used to speak to in the last bull run, where the fuck are they now?
Yeah.
They came for the sprint.
Yeah.
We're still here for the fucking marathon.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, you know, I'll be doing this for the next sort of 20, 30 years. You know?
This is a lifestyle, baby.
Exactly.
It's a
It's a
fucking
lifestyle.
lifestyle. I wake up like that's the thing, and to have this as a lifestyle, it goes back to creating boundaries. So you know you have your personal life, you have your girlfriend or whatever, and then also do this so you can sustain and not burn out.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think it's
That's
very
amazing.
important to ensure that you're keeping those boundaries so you don't burn out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're on Twitter Spaces for a whole week and you don't even realize the sun's gone up or something.
Yeah.
It's very, very bad.
Yeah.
And that's what causes
Go get
mental
some
health issues.
fucking sun.
Touch some grass.
You guys are right
touch
though.
it,
There's
bro.
some people I speak to them and they're like, "Yeah, I haven't slept.
Yeah,
3
like,
days." I'm like,
How effective are you really
Yeah.
by being doing something like that?
Nah, that's
and I've been on spaces where people are like, oh yeah, I just dropped some Adderall. I'm like, what? So you can
Oh,
stay
so
on
you can
so
stay-
you can stay
I
on
brought
your
this
face?
up
Like,
just now.
come on, bro. Come on. Like,
I think-
get some sleep, lad.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that run because this space can be fast paced. You know, there's always things coming out. There's opportunities to flip or whatever, and they sit on the computer. And one of the marketers we had, this guy was on all sorts of drugs just to stay up.
Just to stay
and he would pretty much preach that he was up 5 days straight, and he would like have that thing, you know, aura or to track his sleep and pretty much showcase his
I've been
stats and be
working
like, oh,
on
I
this.
only slept 6 hours this whole week. Like, what?
Yeah.
How are you
That's not a
proud
good
of that,
thing.
bro?
Yeah, that's such a
like,
flex.
and his eyes, I remember at one point, his eyes, like, what happened? There was
Got
a
a sty.
yeah. So from looking at the screen for without
Bro, it's bad.
Just on that, right?
It's not advice. Not advice.
Just on that, there's a huge pharmaceutical culture that comes out of America because they're
Yes.
all brought up within that. And then there's the other side. Look, I've got nothing against smoking weed and stuff like that, but it's just like there's some real degens out there that are just like they want you to hear you smoking the bong sound.
The bong,
we had a
It's like, I was like, all right, cool, that's fine. But yeah, I think they talk about those things, and they come onto these Twitter spaces and they're like, oh yeah, man, I haven't slept and this and that, and like they're proud of it. I'm just like, I feel worried for them.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, look after yourself, man. Like you've only got one life. Fucking make it count, bro. Like
yeah. The question is it even worth it?
yeah,
It's like not sleeping to be on Twitter Spaces. It's 100% not worth it.
Oh,
Like, let's just put that out there. It's not worth it. And if you think that that's how you grow yourself in a community, you're going about this the wrong way.
That's what I was just thinking. You can't rely on that. That's not a way to actually, like, a lot of people think that, like, me personally, we don't do as many Twitter spaces as we probably should, but it's, at the same time, it's like, I don't think that's the number one way to grow your brand. A lot of people think it is the only way to grow their brand in the space, whereas if you do real things, people are going to come.
That's
Yeah,
it. You're gonna do
100%.
real
Do
things.
real
You're gonna
things.
and I think even Twitter Spaces, it's good, but unless there's a purpose to it,
Yeah.
if it's not sustainable just to do it all the time, just because.
I think if it's leading up to something, like we had Twitter Spaces with Rowdy and stuff before our NFT cleanup event,
Yeah.
it brings a lot of traction.
Yeah, for sure.
It gets people, so there's a lot of people that come in when Rowdy's Spaces, they come in, a lot of Australians come in. So that was really good because it led up to that event. If like, for example, leading up to your mint, if you had more Twitter Spaces telling people, hey, the mint's come,
Yeah,
that's useful. There's a use for that Twitter space. Not just jumping on and be like, so what'd you have for breakfast?
Yeah.
Have you eaten? Like,
What was that? Yeah. I've been in some cooks.
yeah, bro.
Oh, bro,
There's
those
some
mega
funny
spaces.
spaces.
the mega spaces are just too much, man.
Oh, just everyone constantly coming in, chill.
Yeah.
And I've heard people wait like 7+ hours just to get up on this map.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
No.
My
what is wrong
God.
with you?
Yeah, this
You're
is when
sitting
you're
here
like,
for
go
7 hours.
outside, bro.
Yeah.
Don't touch the grass.
Just sun your balls. I don't know.
That's intense.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it can be, the space can be quite draining if you let it, or if you can kind of have a structure. I think you were talking about, what's that thing you bought online?
The timesheets.
Time boxing.
Yeah,
Time
so I
boxing.
was just telling the boys before that I started doing this thing called time boxing this week, and essentially what it is you buy these pads off Amazon or whatever, and it's got a to-do list, like 3 critical tasks that you need to get done for the day, and then there's ideas dump. You write down your ideas or to-do list, and then there's time slots on the other side, and you can allocate your time with your tasks that need to be completed, right? And then so I started doing that this week. I started the day, I think it was on Monday, with 18 tasks, right? And I was like, okay, cool. I put my phone in the other room, and I put it on Do Not Disturb, and I go, cool, I can't touch it until I get this sorted, right? And so I go in there, I do 18 tasks. You'd be fascinated how quickly you pump them out when there's no distractions and you're actually just focused in. You get into a flow state and you're just like, oh, fuck, this is cool, you know, and you just power through it. So I'd done 18 and fuck, I was like really, really proud of myself. I felt good and I was like, this is good. Like, look at what you've achieved, Rowdy. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. So the next day I'd done 19, then 20. I'm up to 24.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious though, right? So you say like put the distractions away in the other room. I'm guessing you were still working on your laptop though.
Yeah, still working on
Me
my laptop.
personally, it's like I could just flick real quick and I'm on Discord. I can reply to someone just really quickly.
Yeah.
And I just get stuck on Discord.
And you know, working in marketing, some of those, you know, the Discords and the Twitters are part of my job, right?
Yeah, fair,
Running the socials and stuff like that. But I just silence them. And because my phone's a do not disturb, I've got a Mac, Apple, everything. So my laptop goes in do not disturb as well. So, and then I just go, cool, prioritize something. So, you know, okay, cool, you know, you're going to do the slideshow today. Okay, yep, cool, presentation. Put together that. Cool, that's done. What's the next task? Cool, Twitter post, go on Twitter. And the thing is, you've got to be very strict. Okay, I'm going for a social post, do the social post, then get out.
Yeah.
In and out.
Yeah, in and out. You've got to though. Because you'll get distracted and then, reply to this, then you go for a scroll and next thing you know, there goes 15 minutes.
Yep.
You know, so you just got to be very, very strict. And look, it's really hard to do. Our attention span's minute these days, right?
Well, discipline's hard, right?
That's it. But that's and that's it, bro. I try and teach myself discipline every fucking day because I'm just like, this is what it takes, you know, like I'm taking a break off, you know, Instagram and TikTok right now, and I'm only focusing on Twitter because I'm just like, some really negative effects for me with that, but I was like, this is discipline. Dude, there's days I want to download it and go, well, what's everyone else doing? But it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
I need to know what Rowdy's doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think one thing I love about this space, and it does get shat on a bit, but fuck it, I want to talk about it because I enjoy it. The flexing side of it and the luxurious side of like the NFT and crypto stuff. What's some of the wildest shit you guys have seen since you've been in this space with other people that have been in this space, or like just cool shit like that?
What, like in terms of people flexing?
Yeah, but like
You mean like
cool things.
ridiculous purchases
Like,
or
yeah,
something?
what's some crazy
I'm glad you
things
brought
you've
this
seen?
up. I'll tell you some crazy things I've seen. But so I've got a private wallet, right? Where I keep all my good stuff in, and jamesrowdy.eth, you go on there and there's a bunch of fucking shitty JPEGs and you know, there's a few proud right moments in there.
I was like, who is this guy? You think
like,
he's yeah.
But you know what it is? Because I like people to take me on face value. Who is James Rowdy? Not what I own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, and I think there's a look, you know, shout out to people who've done well in this space with, you know, some really good blue chip assets, right? But I think, you know, I mean, like, what's the guy's name? It's not the guy with like 52 bought it? Franklin, there you go. Franklin, I mean, that guy flexes.
Oh man,
Like shit, bro.
but it is funny the way he does it. He
Yeah.
just does it in like a toxic way, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's a toxic, funny way.
Yeah.
Like the 100 ETH fucking bid that he done on himself. the other
And
day.
and he's like, oh lol, lost 100 ETH.
The fuck?
Franklin,
he's,
bro,
he's
like,
different, man.
Yeah,
100
he is
ETH?
different.
And he has like a slideshow of all his apes, and he just posts that like every week. It's like
Yeah.
50 that just goes through every. And all the comments are like, all right, we get it.
Yeah.
And he's just laughing probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big flex. But look, I mean, I'm not really into flexing and stuff like that. As such, I like to have fun in the space.
Yeah.
You know, look, it's good to have good blue chip assets.
Yeah.
To an extent, but I don't know. I'm really interested in the people, not what they own. You know what I mean? Who they are, not what they own.
Yeah, well, I actually think that's a problem right now. Is that the only
Absolutely.
news that actually gets out there to, let's just say, the public, is when something ridiculous sells and like, or something crazy happens that's actually bad. It's like that's actually bad for the space when it comes to educating people.
Yeah.
Like, because that's not when we go to educate someone, we're not telling them about the 500 ETH punk that just sold. It's like, bro, we're talking about like how it actually works and why we care about it.
I think deep down it's ego, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I own this, or I'm a part of this. Because as humans, we all want to be a part of something, right? That's why religion was invented, right? Because people want to belong to something, they want to have purpose, and they want to envision something. So I think the same thing goes for Web3, where they go, okay, cool. You know, I own XYZ, or I'm part of this community, I'm a part of this, and I get it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I don't know, I keep going back to, you know, I'm more interested in who you are and what you do, not what you are.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword though as well, right? Because as us people that are trying to build out NFTs and Web3 within, say, Australia and then internationally as well, selling that dream, I think, is important at the same time, though, to get people interested in the space.
It's definitely
initially.
good for marketing.
Yeah, and then,
sure.
and then because, like, say for you, for example, Jackson, like you got your mutant ape, and I'm like, that's fucking sick. Like that's sick. And then you get into the space, and then there's so much more to it after that. So you see a lot of these influencers who have their, say, NFTs, their punks, their apes, and they're flexing with the Lamborghini, the AP watch, the Richard Milles. And it's like, okay, like you see that at face value, but then you've also got to be self-aware in terms of, okay, if that's that side of it, it's introduced me, now what's the reality of it too?
That's it. It's almost like a marketing, like
I think
it
it's
could
just
be
used to pump people's bads. Like influencers are just pumping each other's bads. And like you don't understand, like you have no idea if that Lamborghini is actually rented or if it's actually borrowed or if it's even actually theirs. Like do they own it 6 months later? Do you even see them selling that Lamborghini to go buy another MAYC?
But that's what social media is.
It is, that's it. It's pumping bads, and that's all it is.
And you know what the other side is on top of that? It's none of our business anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
I think if anyone is flexing what they own, it shows more a reflection of them than it does of what's in your damn wallet.
It's their insecurities.
That's
It's
it.
insecurity.
That's exactly it's
That's
insecurity.
seeking validation, seeking attention.
Yeah, exactly.
I have
You know
a
what is cool in terms of like not flexing, but using IP to brand something, you know, and like bring out products using the IP is super cool. And I think
that's
that
a good
brings on heaps of people.
That's a good flex.
That's a good flex. Because that has
that's-
purpose to
yeah,
it, and that's building something, right?
On that
And,
topic.
Yeah.
Because it's branding, like people love brands.
Yeah.
Like so, for example, all your luxurious designs, like it's people flex it, but it's the brand that they're also fascinated in. You put an ape behind the burgers, for example. What those guys do.
And if you tell your IRL friend, you're like, well, that's my ape, and now I've got a brand that I use my ape, and it's like, oh, now I can kind of understand it.
Yeah.
I think though, it's not necessarily related directly, but I think it has some sort of correlation. Is that the way that you have to market, and we are experiencing this firsthand, right? Because we're trying to mint in October, right? The way you have to market your project is just, it's not. I don't like it. But it's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And it comes back to you have to like sell people not a fake idea, but that's what all the big ones do. They kind of do. Like the free mints, the ones that, let's just be real, like the free mints that are clearly rug pulls, they're just selling this fake, like completely fake vision. And then if you're a real project, you have to still juice it all up to make it. It's just,
I mean,
it sucks.
That's a part of it, but I think honestly, being genuine really does sell as well.
Yeah.
You know, you can differentiate when someone's just hyping something up to get mints and get sales, and then you can see what the genuine founders are and people that are building it.
Yeah.
Right. So I wouldn't, focus too much on the aspect of I want to hype up this bag and I want to sell a dream so much, but more so people are going to invest in the people behind the project.
Yeah, well, I think, that's true. I think if the real people, they can kind of see it, and like I think everyone here can kind of see which ones are. Yeah. But there's a lot of people that have no idea at all, and they're getting fucked and fucked and fucked again. Because there was this thread that came out 2 months ago. I don't know if you guys seen it, and it was like some guy broke down how much everyone's made in space and how many wallets. I think it was like at the time there was like 1.3 million wallets that ever traded an NFT. Obviously, a lot of people have multiple accounts, and he's like, the stat was like only, I think it was like 1,700 or 1,500 of them have made over 50 ETH, and you're like, fuck, which is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but then you're like, 1,500 people out of that. Like, it seems like in the space everyone's making money. No one wants to talk about their losses or anything like that. And it's like, clearly not everyone's winning.
No, you're not, because
I think a lot of people are coming into this space not because of the technology, but because it's a quick money. Or,
exactly.
That all the videos you see on TikTok. I bought this for $5 and then now it's $50,000.
And that's what I mean.
Like, that's not. It's not good. Like way to bring them in, or
because
it's showcasing a lot of risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think people see that till they.
But I think that's with anything, right? You go in with the wrong intentions, and you're gonna
100%,
get
yeah.
bit. You're gonna
Yeah.
lose.
You have to learn somehow. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
It happened to me. I came in, I was like, yep, I came in August, right? And this was a Wicked 8 Bone Club was this derivative that I bought. It was a derivative
Oh
of the
yeah, I
Ames.
remember that. I had a few of them.
Yeah, so I was like, bought one, and at the time, me and Lewis had been into shoe reselling. Lewis had his own shoe business to resell. So I was like, I love the reselling part of it. I saw those TikToks, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm getting into it. And I got lucky. Bought my one, sold it, doubled. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And then that was in August and shit like that. And then you start buying more and you think, oh, it's going to happen again. And then I started getting rug pulled.
Yeah.
I got rug pulled multiple times, and then I realized, and you have to learn.
You have to.
But you know what? To answer your question about the whole marketing thing,
Yeah.
I feel like if you've got to go out of your way to shill your project, then you're in it for the wrong intentions. You know what? People invest in the people now, not the
Not the product. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, if you got, like, in terms of marketing, you know, if you've got an NFT project, it would just be like, hey, like, going into Twitter Spaces, but hosting them and going, hey, this is what we're building, and doing some sort of, like, podcast series, utilizing content, stuff like that. But you know what it is? It's providing value to people,
That's it.
right? If you keep jab, 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 right hook, as Gary Vee says, so fucking true. You know, just keep providing value to people. And then people will keep showing up.
100%.
You know what? We're all very, very highly valuable people in this room, right? And we provide value to people daily, right? And people keep showing up. That's why they fucking invest in us, right? Because they go, this person's a valuable individual. I can see that all the value they give me. I'm happy to support them and happy to back them. I love what they're doing. I love what these people, this person's about, right?
Well, I think that's exactly why we're doing a podcast, and we can, because it's different content. We're not trying to just do the shilly content that
Yeah.
people, I'm just going to say people want to see.
The clickbait.
The clickbaity
The
stuff.
clickbait.
That's why we try and differentiate ourselves, because at the same, like I've been saying as well, it's like you're not investing in the brand or anything. You're actually just investing in the people behind it. Like it's
100%.
It's just
100%.
Because at the end of the day, in this space right now, the brands that were coming out, it's not like Nike or Adidas and stuff.
No,
These are brands that people are creating.
Yeah.
So you have to be investing in the people. You have to be understanding what they're about and what they've done, even what they've done in the Web 2 space before they come to Web 3. So anyone listening, definitely look into what the founders have done before to see what they may do with this.
Get to know them, to be
Get
honest.
to know them.
You know, I think a lot of projects, you know, founders are just like you guys. You know, you jump on stage and you're approachable. You know, and that's key. Like I think a lot of people hide behind the sheets. You know what I mean? So the fact that we can do that, it's like take the opportunity and talk to the founders. You know, get as much information as you can. And like even what you guys are doing right now, providing value, like actions speak louder than words. And this speaks a lot of volume. Like just this whole setup, like when we walked in here, like I was like,
Right,
holy
it's a vibe.
shit,
It's a
this
vibe.
is like you know where you're heading. Like this is long-term shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a pop-up. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? And like, it
Well,
speaks volumes.
That's the other interesting thing that we were talking about before. It's like how, like in Web 2, you know, you're trading stocks and whatever. It's like everyone holds their cards very close to their chest. It's like how do you show people? And I think it's just over time you've just got to show up time and time again that you are legit. You are wanting to actually help them, help the community, because there's so many scams and stuff.
That's it.
out
The
there.
scams scare you,
A lot of people
right?
have gotten
You've got to
fucked over.
validate yourself through in real life events and being.
Yeah.
It's
Show
like,
up.
You can
Just show
say
up.
anything on a Twitter space, but until you actually go out and do it, they're not going to keep showing up.
Yeah.
And eventually, there's something like, oh, you know, there's a lot of people out there that'll say on Twitter space that you know they want to collaborate and stuff, but realistically, they don't. They just saying it because they're on
The
a
C
Twitter
word chucked around a lot, even
Oh, there's so many
community
C words.
collaboration. But how are you actually collaborating? I want to see the kind of relationships building, because that's
Exactly.
what actually builds community. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh,
So like
There's nothing
us
C
going
word.
to NFT Melbourne events and building a relationship.
Yeah.
Like that's key. That's how you build community. And like now coming over here, now we got people in Brisbane. Like that's how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing like we're going interstate and like connecting. And at the end of the day, we're just at the beginning and we're just slowly building. We're not like you were saying. It's a long term thing. You know what I mean? It's like fuck. I'm not here for like short term fucking quick flips. We're here for building something with the technology and understanding. We don't all know what's gonna happen, but we're trying.
Yeah.
Rowdy,
Every
what's
day
that,
we showing
what's
up.
that quote? I love it. The plain one.
The plain one.
The
Yeah,
plain
yeah.
one, the one
Plain
that's
one.
pinned on your Twitter,
You're
bro.
pinned to it.
Pinned on your Twitter.
Oh yeah, so this is my analogy of Web3. Web3 is like an Web3 is. Web3 is like you can sum up like Joe Biden. You can sum up America in one word. No. So Web3 is like an airplane that we're flying and building at the same time, and we don't know where we're flying to. That's probably the best way to sum up Web3 as a whole, right? But it's exciting.
It's
right?
exciting.
It's super exciting.
Fucking- it's-
And I think yeah, it's really cool to see the innovation that's coming out of this whole space. It's crazy. The stuff that I see, firsthand at Bankser and the things that we're doing with our partners and what they're doing behind the scenes and stuff like that. I'm just like, holy shit, this is very, very, very cool. Yeah, man, it excites the fuck out of me. And I think what you were saying, Kane, is extremely valid. Like, the one thing that's helped me grow my personal brand and the NFT Melb community, and is just showing up to these events. Going to the NFT SIDS, going to the NFT Bris Vegas today, the Aussie Crypto Roadshow. And it's just like, just meeting these cool people, networking. Your net worth is your network.
And also just like showing up as well. You're supporting people that are trying to do things. You know what I mean? Like everyone here is trying to do things, and you can see the people that are here for long term, and to support them as a whole, like showing up it's big. You know what I mean? So like, I'm excited for tonight's event.
Oh yeah. This is actually going to be hyped for it. Now. I'm pretty pumped.
I'm pretty pumped. Yeah.
Just be lubricating
I can
ourselves.
see that look in your eyes.
You know what happened with the NFT Melb event? Like this guy had his shirt off and he took his NotEssential shirt off and he
That wasn't even me, bro. That's the girlfriend. I had a shirt on.
Big drinker?
No. I just love to party. But
he's the brewer.
He's the brewer.
And also he gets high on his own supply.
But NFT Rise, which was done by NFT Mel, was a really good event. It was a bit of a drink tour paid for, food, short dishes was great. A lot of projects came, a lot of founders, great people to meet. But Crawford over here got into a conversation because we had a little party beforehand, before we went down. Oscar invited us over to his new studio and stuff. We met this person, she's like, I really love your shirt. I'm like, oh cool, like when we opened our new merch store that NotEssential was doing, you can buy one off the I really want your shirt and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, okay, cool. And anyways, we met at that night. Obviously, some drinks went down. I had the shirt underneath a shirt that I was wearing on top, and I just had it open a bit. And then she started talking to Crawford, and Crawford's like, bro, you should give her your shirt. Obviously, fucking 5-10 drinks down. I'm like, yeah, bro, I should fucking give her my fucking shirt. Get me the shirts off, and she's wearing it. I'm like, that's it, bro.
She appreciates it.
And she reposted it and like
and shout out to Victoria. She's a great lady and she wears it to events and stuff. She's like, no, people love the play on words and stuff. I'm like, you know what? The fact that I love that I gave it to you and I love that you wear it and it's the
It just didn't go to like a waste or like.
it didn't go to waste.
The back of your wardrobe.
I'm just glad about that. And to be honest, I think that's what it's about. Like being able to just give that out. Like I'll happily do it. I'll most likely do it again tonight.
Well, do you have anything underneath that one or?
No. If I had James Rowdy,
5 drinks.
if I had Rowdy's body, yeah, maybe. But the man is fit. You know?
I think we'll probably maybe start wrapping it up a little bit.
I have one question.
Yeah, I got another one as well after yours.
Mine's pretty short, and
Alright.
probably one person can answer it. Who actually came up with the name NotEssential? Like, I'm genuinely curious who it was.
I think it was Dummy.
yeah.
I think it was Dummy. Chuck Rice. That was a short question.
That was very short.
To wrap it up, I want to go around and ask everyone, where do they go to learn about Web3, NFTs, crypto? Who is your person you listen to on content, or what do you read? Like
James
your
Rowdy.
websites?
James Rowdy.
Hit me up.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. It literally, like for me personally,
Come to our
it's-
Discord.
To be honest, I want to mention
me.
Yeah,
obviously,
if you do want to learn, if you do want to get understand what's happening in the space, jump on Spotify and definitely listen to DJ Aussie Apes.
Yeah.
They go over a lot of Web3 stuff. They talk about NFTs. They're such funny guys. They help you understand understand what's going on in space.
good, yeah.
If you're on Twitter, then James Rowdy got it.
James Rowdy got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just on
Where
that.
do you get your stuff from?
I get mine from quite a few sources, right? But the thing is with me is I'm fascinated in meeting new people, right? I think everyone's got a journey or a story to share and stuff like that. And I've got top people that I follow and stuff like that. But I love looking outside the other parameters and not away from the mainstreams and stuff like that. But yeah, look, if anyone's keen and wanting to learn, like, my door's always open. I'm more than happy to like book calls with people. I think if you go onto my Instagram, you can click the link tree, you can book a call with me. I'm happy to give time to anyone, but if they're willing to learn, you know what I mean? But yeah, definitely hit me up, jamesrowdy.eth on Instagram. I think it's Twitter and TikTok as well. I'm not on Instagram or TikTok currently, but hit me up on Twitter, jamesrowdy.eth, and yeah, I'm more than happy to help people out.
I mean, I might as well plug. I'm happy to as well. Hit me up. I'm happy to talk. Come to the Blokes Discord as well. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great thing about this space. Everyone's willing to help each other out. So yeah, you know what? Hit any of us up.
Anyone in this room right now, I think all about
Are you putting
all
our
about-
socials up here?
I think that's the thing about the Web3 space, that anyone is willing to help.
Yeah.
And you don't know who you're going to
Just reach out
You
and
don't
show
know.
up to events. Like it's, you know, we're starting to, now Brisbane's, you know, showing up, doing events. We're doing events in Sydney, Melbourne, and New Zealand soon.
Yes.
And, you know, like,
massive orgy soon.
Yeah.
and we're early, so like, even if people want to get involved more, like, you can actually talk to founders at these events, you know, and it's good to have be that personal relationship and build community and, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Just get in there.
Like, I think someone asked me the other day, like, how I met Rowdy. I'm like, bro, that's a story and a half. Remember when we met?
Yeah.
We're outside with the DJ of the eggs. Because at NFC SYD, I saw Rowdy. Rowdy's the only guy with Bored Ape or MAYC
Macy, yeah.
Macy shirt on and stuff. And like, everyone was talking like, oh, you know, I'll talk to this guy eventually, you know. Definitely should talk to this guy. But then he came outside. I was talking to Shaheem from DJ and Aussie, and we were just talking. And he came outside and he started talking. He's like, bro, you never know who you're going to meet. And he just started just taking everyone's Twitters down. I'm like, oh, who's this guy? And next minute, we're in Melbourne.
Yeah. See, and
Nick
and
Minute?
you're probably sure by seeing the 8, you're like, fuck, James Rowdy. And then you talk to the guy and it's like, oh, he's James Rowdy. Like, just a genuine bloke. Like, I met a guy at the Bris Vegas, NFT Bris Vegas, and he had like 2 apes, 2 mutant names. And I was
Shout
like,
out Cole.
yeah, Cole. I was like, he's just a fucking good dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing more to him than just being a good vibe.
Yeah.
And like,
There's a lot of good dudes in the space, man. There's a lot of
Yeah.
names that, you know, I've met online that I'm going to be meeting, you know, for the first time here, you know, in IRL. But yeah, it's, you never know who you're speaking to, man.
yeah.
And that's why I'm just like, I've got time for everyone.
Yeah.
And I just think, you know, it helps with adoption too. You know what I mean? It's just like, it goes back to what I said before. If you can serve someone, you know, that's the best thing you can do as a human being. And I think, yeah, I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah.
I think if you're willing to learn, you're going to go very far in the space.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're willing to learn and willing to listen, and just get off that front foot and just
Yeah, just jump in.
Just learn and jump in and just fucking go balls
Just
deep.
go hard.
So it's not too late. It's super early, right?
It is,
It's
bro.
extremely early.
Yeah, you gotta show up. Like Jackson and I met the ex-CEO of Binance.
Yeah.
Like, fucking 2 months ago. Like, how wild is that?
That's
Like,
wild.
you would never even assume
That's
that.
wild.
Just at an event, he was just standing there, and I was like, bro, is that? And I was like, yeah, it is. And then Jackson owes an AP, owes an app, so they started talking about that, and I was like, that's crazy. And then I tried to make a joke with him, it flopped, but you know.
I love that you have to bring that up.
No, because he was doing a speech there, and he was like, wow, I guess I'm the only one wearing a suit. And I was wearing a suit as well. So when we went up afterwards, he took his suit jacket off and I left mine on.
It was a terrible jacket.
And I was like, oh, I'm still wearing it. And then he was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It was good. I was trying making the joke with Fred about the ape as well. Fred's just like,
No, Fred loved that. Fred loved it. Are you serious? He ate that. No, but it's
Yeah.